As I descend down the hill in my drift trike through traffic and approach the curve, then fall off the mountain and think in my head, wow, this may have been stupid. I also think this was one of the craziest and most awesome things I've ever done. Does anyone know what the new trike sensation that is sweeping the nation is? On this fine evening, we'll be pondering and conceptualizing one of the newest and most ridiculous extreme sports coming out of New Zealand, drift triking. I will discuss the design for a drift trike, what drift triking is, and the future of drift triking in general. First, let's look at the design of a drift trike. The first step that must be completed is to begin by drawing a design. This part is all up to you. You're going to want to design your trike so it is unique and stands out, although this will depend on what kind of parts you have available to you and what size you will need to fit your body. Once you have a design set, you will need to gather parts to begin construction. The parts you will need are a BMX frame, 2 front go-kart wheels, a seat, PVC pipe, BMX pegs, a rear axle, bearings for the rear wheels. This may sound like specific parts, but parts such as the frame may be fabricated by welding pieces of metal together, and parts such as the wheels can also be used with dolly wheels instead of go-kart wheels. The construction of the drift trike process is the most consuming part. Some of the tools you'll need are a metal saw, angle grinder, a drill, a welder, and various wrenches and sockets. A drift trike is a tricycle that has 2 wheels in the back, 1 in the front, and the most common frame diameters are between 48 and 52 millimeters for strength purposes. But it depends on what size that you need in your design that you came up with. Rear wheels are installed with an addition of PVC pipes around them, and this will increase in the loss of traction and make it easier for the trike to drift. The front wheel is a standard 20-inch BMX wheel. Most trikes have pedals or pegs in the front so that the rider can put their feet somewhere, but some people don't use axles because they think they're cool. Now that you know how to design a drift trike, let's talk about what drift triking actually is. It originated from tricycles made for kids, but it wasn't long until some dudes from New Zealand decided to strengthen the frame, put some sliding wheels on the back, and started to drift while bombing hills. Riders gather most of the momentum through gravity, but many choose to have a freewheeling pedal in the front, which makes it more versatile. Operating speeds are generally between 12 and 31 miles per hour. The higher speeds are obtainable. The terrain needed is pretty set. The most important terrain is that you need a smooth asphalt and steep hills. To make the ride crazier, it is recommended that the hills include various slopes, turns, and curves. You should try to find a road somewhere where there is no traffic, but occasionally there is some to add some craziness to the mix. Safety is the biggest concern when you come to drift triking. Due to high speeds and ease of tippage and or falling, it is considered to be unsafe. Helmets are optional, but highly suggested to protect your head. Long sleeve shirts, long pants, elbow and knee pads are also recommended to reduce road rash if you fall off. Now that we know how to build it and what drift triking is, let's investigate what the future holds for the sport. Since 2009, the sport has been gaining popularity throughout the world thanks to YouTube. As long as you can get up a hill, you can ride your drift trike down. Also, providing you or someone else can build one, you can do this sport. Drift triking will continue to grow with the expansion of companies that produce parts like Mad Trikes. Eventually, closed courses will begin and will be made to provide extra safety. Also, with these courses, competitions throughout the world will begin. These competitions will most likely be judged based on style and time, just like real drifting in cars. As the sport expands, it will probably become a sport that is seen in the X Games as well as a World Tour competitions like the Dew Tour.